Hello everyone, my name is Danielle and I'm from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card was, as per usual, kind of inspired by some life events. What I'm really hoping to do for you all is if you're feeling like kind of beaten down or a little devastated or just a bit sad or conflicted or just kind of being too hard on yourself about a situation you found yourself in lately, as I'm just hoping that this card reading will help you remember what a great human you are and that we all just like make mistakes and can't be perfect and can't always say the right things in all situations. So what we're going to be looking at is how do you feel right now about the situation? Like, what's the energy you're in? We're going to be pulling some animal cards for that. And then I'm going to pull a couple animal cards about, for what your guides want you to remember about yourself. So just like the energies and the skill sets that you have that you've kind of been a little bit blinded or you've forgotten about in this kind of lower point or this heavier energy you're in right now. And then we're going to look at some advice from your guides to get you centered and balanced again. And then I'm also going to pull some cards just to see if there's just any other messages for you right now. And that's pretty much it. That's the plan. So you can never tell how long these readings are going to be. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe an hour. I guess we'll find out when you choose your piles. So if you want to take a few deep breaths, just get connected with yourself, connect with your intuition, and just ask yourself if one of these decks has a message for you. Pile 1 is going to be the Magical Unicorns Oracle card deck that we're going to be pulling some guidance from. Pile 2, your option is the Indigo Angels Oracle cards. I don't know if some of you want to see what these pictures look like. Look at that. There's lots of horses apparently going on in this card reading today. And pile 3, you have the Angels and Auras Oracle cards. Yeah, I don't know if you want to see what those look like. So, yeah, if you're drawn to one of the piles, I'll see you in your card readings. And if not, maybe I'll catch you in another video. Okay, hello, pile 1. You all chose the Magical Unicorns Oracle cards. I feel like I'm ripping off the name when I just say unicorns and not magical unicorns. I'm going to put this up here for a moment, and I'm just going to right away get into pulling some cards for the energy that you are in right now around the situation, so how you're feeling. Awesome. And then also just in your highest good right now, I'm just asking for what your guides want you to know or remember about yourself that you're not seeing right now. It can help you get through the situation. So, awesome. Okay. Flip these over for ya. Ooh, we have Vulture and Bat. Oh my gosh, you guys sure have a lot of flying air energy. Hawk and Shark. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Okay. So, if you haven't seen this specific Oracle card deck before, Vultures in this deck is actually like a very wise card. It's kind of like, it's like one of the higher, if you like want to put it on a higher, I guess, more aware air animals in the deck. So this is actually like a really positive card. I can see how maybe you're like, what? I don't want to be a vulture. But it's like basically not overextending your energy. And observing what the situations and what's happening before like just going and taking action. And it's really about like, yeah, not acting impulsively. That's actually a really great card. Like, it's kind of the opposite. Like, like you're the opposite of acting impulsively, which takes a lot of wisdom and a lot of learned lessons and experiences to kind of master that. What I also like about the color choice that they choose for this Vulture card is that it's like a kind of a maroon color. So when I see this, I always feel like it's like having balanced between the crown, the root, and the heart energy. So like being grounded in yourself. being aware of what your intuition's telling you and coming from a heart-centered place and being in connection with, I don't know, I would say like your higher self, your wisdom, and like being centered in yourself and who you want to be. So this is actually quite an honorable card to come through, and really speaks to the level of maturity, compassion, and kindness that you try to bring into situations. So I just really want to point that out. And that's coming in for the energy you're in right now. The other thing though I get though is like having to be in this energy, it makes me feel like you might have found yourself in a situation where you're being, I don't want to say you're being tested, but you feel like it's kind of like how people associate that expression. Like maybe someone that you're interacting with is being very triggered around you, or is triggered by you, or is kind of coming from a state of fear and defensiveness. And you're having to be in this energy to navigate that, to navigate the situation. There, sorry, let me zoom in a little. There we go. I feel like it's like hard to see these cards very well. But you know what? The other thing I just want to say too with this vulture card is like, I wonder if even part of the message here is the being misinterpreted and misjudged. Because maybe, I don't know for sure if you felt this way, but maybe when you saw this vulture card, you were just like, ugh, I don't want to be that. It's like a scavenger. It's like, it's mean. It's like, I don't know. That's like the stereotype that's coming forward to me very strongly. And I feel like this is how some people might be misjudging you right now. So they might see you as like the bad guy, or see you as the one who's like making their lives harder or something like that. But I just want to be very clear that this is not true. This is you being very misjudged by somebody else, by other people, by us, like whatever it is. And I feel like they're just not seeing how valuable you are and how you are doing. Like, I don't know, whatever it is you're doing the job that needs to be done. You're doing the thing that needs to happen. And it's not like a great thing. So I don't know, this might be affiliated with your work, to be honest. The more that I tune into this, because I almost feel like maybe you've chosen a career path or a job where you just unfortunately have to sometimes be the quote unquote bad guy. And I feel like it can be probably very exhausting and very burnt outy for you. So I don't know if like, I'm wondering if you had to like fire a bunch of people recently for a company or something like that, or you are like the one who like has to set strong boundaries with like the people beneath you or their coworkers. But I just feel like this feels like a position that you're in that you don't really have much control over. It's part of your responsibility to kind of deliver this news and like do that job. And what people aren't seeing about you is just like how you're really trying to do it in the best way, and you're trying to do the job that you need to do with the most compassion and the most understanding and the most love. Because like I said, like the energy that comes off this is very strong. I feel like it's not a job that you do with joy. And it's like, if someone has to do it, at least it's you, because you come at it as gently as you can. And even with the back card, right? Like this is this is like literally a nocturnal animal. It's like being in the harder emotions, being in what's that called? Like the moon energy. It's always associated with like the more shadowy aspects of ourselves. But what I find interesting was this back card feels like very light. So I almost feel like it's like, you know, you have to do this so that there can be changes and new things can come in. So I feel like you're probably really torn right now, pile one, because it seems like you have like some really like uncomfortable things you have to do. Like literally, I think it could be firing people, letting people go, having hard conversations with people, setting really firm boundaries with people. Something of the sort like that. Sorry, my watch is just notifying me about appointments being booked. Distracting there. Yeah, and then the bat does come through and says, I feel like you do have this understanding that it needs to be done and things will change and things will get better once these conversations are had, once these situations are sort of dealt with, or these, yeah, like once it's done is what I keep getting. And then it feels like you're ready. You're going to be ready for something new. Yeah, so I can see why you're looking for some guidance right now. It feels pretty heavy. It feels like it feels like you're in a position that you don't really want to be finding yourself in, but for some reason you've been chosen to do the job. So I'm sorry about that, pile one. And if you're someone who's like, my job doesn't involve any of this, I also could see this being if you're trying to leave a relationship. So this could be like a romantic partner, or it could be a friendship where you're having to set some really strong boundaries or even end the relationship. And that could be why this feels so heavy for you, because I feel like it's like there's a lot of grief in the energy here for the vulture. So there's just like a lot of hard decisions, and then it feels a little bit lighter with this bad energy, because I almost feel like you can see that there needs to be this new beginning, this new change, this letting go so that you can grow kind of energy. And I also feel like there's just like whoever it is that you're having to have this conversation with to let go of, or like, yeah, I do feel like that. It's letting go. It's like firing them out of your life in some way, whether it's literally in your career or in your personal life. I do just feel like you know that it needs to happen, and you're just like, I feel like you're in a phase right now where you're just really trying to get clear with yourself the best way to have that conversation, and to honor yourself, honor them, and respect the work and the relationship that you have with them, but still setting that boundary and like making sure that it's firm, that it's over. So I can just really see why there's a lot of thinky energy, but it does feel like you know in your heart that it has to happen. So yeah, new bit for a new beginning to come and for a new dynamic to come in. So when we are looking over here at the hawk and the shark, similar things, like when I see the shark card come in, I'm just gonna double check that I'm doing this right. But the hawk is all about like seeing the bigger picture, and like I think the reason why this is coming through for why your guides want you to remember this about you is like really knowing and seeing, like whenever you go down that wormhole about like maybe how this is really gonna negatively affect the person, like I feel like you start to take on responsibility for the other person's emotion and how they're gonna handle it, and maybe like, I don't know, like if it's for a career, maybe you're like, oh well, what job will they have? How will they pay their rent? Or if it's for a friend or a romantic partner, maybe you're like, well, what if they're not okay and what if they need me? Like it's like, don't go down that rabbit hole. Remember and feel into this energy of the hawk, which is like very like that higher vision of like knowing that every situation there's an opportunity for everyone to grow, and this needs to happen for you and it needs to happen for them so that they can go and grow, and also for that your company or for you yourself, you can grow. And it's just like, it feels like this person that you're having to have this ending with is just no longer aligned with you or no longer aligned with your company or business that you're working for. And it's not serving either person any longer to have them there or keep them around or have them in your life. Yeah. So it's just like, just remember to clearly see the bigger picture and why it's important for this to happen. And I feel like when you do that, it gets you out of that like sort of anxiety and like lower energy where you start getting to concern and kind of just feeling heavier and heavier. This is like the higher version of that, remembering why it's important to do. Yeah. Sorry, I keep yawning, which we usually say in energy work is like a sign of releasing heavier energy. But yeah, the other thing I want to mention too is like also with the colors here, it's like really remembering like that you are a great person and that this is just something that needs to get done. I feel like that's what keeps coming in, because whenever I see like yellow, it sometimes can mean like we're starting to like maybe get hard on ourselves, come up with some like not so great things about ourselves when we have to have a hard conversation and like we can just be really like, I'm not being like kind enough, I'm not being like fair enough or something like that. It's like, just don't, like, that's so not true. I feel like whatever this is, you just know deep in your intuition that it needs to happen, because the shark card, as we were saying, the shark card is like kind of similar to the vulture in the sense that maybe at first it seems a little bit intimidating, but it's all about how like, it's kind of like when you don't address an issue, then it becomes icky, you know, like, and I feel like that's the thing that's starting to happen with this other person is like, at first it was like small disagreements or disharmonies or misalignments, and now it's become like a bigger issue. And it's kind of saying how like, you know, like a shark at first, like a shark seems scary, right? It seems scary, but if we like address the situation, all of a sudden it's not so scary. Like it isn't like we have to deal with it so it doesn't become this big issue. And that's kind of what this is saying. So just remember that the longer it kind of waits to have an honest discussion, or I really feel like have this conversation, the harder and harder it's going to get, because there's this buildup of emotion around it. So I don't quite know the exact situation for all of you. You got to take that as it resonates, but I do feel like there's lots of interactions you're still having with this person. And if it's a work thing, I feel like there's lots of like little angry things going on. So like little, like, I feel like other people are starting to have issues with this person, and it's kind of turning to this big gossipy gross thing. And if this is like just like a friendship or a romantic partner, I feel like every time you see them and you know you have to have this conversation, or you're wanting to end things, it's like getting bigger and bigger, and it's getting more overwhelming. So it really talks about, just remember, as soon as you have this conversation, that ball of like yuckiness gets to be released, and it doesn't need to be such a heavy burden on you anymore. It gets to just go away. So it's like, it won't feel like this forever. But just know, like, yeah, you got to address the shark in the room is kind of the thing I'm getting here. And have that honest conversation, and it will help get rid of like that tension. And I do feel like just like that yuckiness. I feel like you feel yucky about some things. And we don't like that. We don't like that in our lives, do we? So, that being said, let's move on to the next question here about advice from your guides to kind of help you come back into balance. So, that's what we're going to pull these unicorn cards for. Yeah. And I do feel like the importance of this shark card coming through is actually just more so to know, like, once you have this conversation, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel so much better, because it's really just like built up on itself to become like this glooming, dooming conversation. And you're just really ready to kind of be set free from that. So that being said, what guidance for you? What is some guidance for you around this situation? How to bring you back into balance? All in love and light. Your highest good. Pile one. Okay, this one. Choo. Okay. Boop. Full. Kind of want one more. Listen to your true feelings. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna back out a little bit. Turn the camera slightly. It's all a balancing act, hey? Okay. Boop, boop, boop. I think that's all of them. Yep. Okay, awesome. So I kind of like these cards because they're just like pretty clear. One word, that's your guidance. Done. But I feel like for y'all pile ones, I feel like you're kind of like, I need more clarification, because it's just like when we go through a hard time, right? We do need some clarification and some validation and just some support. So forgive, that's the first card here. It says it's time to let go of anger or blame. The forgive card, I actually feel like it's more talking about forgiving yourself. I do, like I was saying, I feel like you all are being quite hard on yourselves about this. And I think that's even what's increasing this like pressure on this situation and on the conversation, is you might have thought about it for a really long time. About, like, I could almost see you all with your like very compassionate energy here, kind of get in your head and being like, well, what if this person says that? Or what if they do this? Or what if when I say this, they take it this way or that way? And it's like really getting heady and like trying to like find the best way to have a conversation, but you've almost overthought it so much that it feels like you've had this conversation with yourself and this person in your head probably 100 times, maybe 1,000 times, depending on who you are, but a lot. You've had it a lot. And when I see this, it's almost like I feel like you just need to take a deep breath and realize that you can't control how they're going to take it. And all you can do is come forward with the conversation compassionately, understandingly, and let them have their emotional processing of it, but not take it personally. And know that like this conversation doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you someone who needs to have it and needs to just, let them, like, I feel like maybe you're worried this person's going to be angry or blaming you or kind of reacting at you. And I think that's part of the thing you're trying to figure out how to avoid. And I think you just need to, I keep coming back to don't take it personally. Know that this isn't a judgment on you. It's just them having a processing or how they're processing it. You are very compassionate. You're very kind. You can tell you don't want to be in this situation. But the guidance here is like, just be honest. Just be who you are. Come at it with like the love and the kindness and the gentleness that you just naturally are. You just already have this. And they're going to receive it however they're going to receive it. And you really aren't responsible for their emotional reaction of it, okay? It's not your responsibility. I really feel like you need to let that go. I know it's hard, but you really need to let that go and know that you're you having to be in this role doesn't make you a bad person. It's just something you have to do. So it says, yes, what you're asking about is the truth, and the answer that you're seeking is love, and it's time to let go of blame or anger. So, like I said, I really feel like this is more directed towards like not taking on their anger or blame, and knowing that maybe they won't love how like this situation happening because they're gonna feel out of control, and whatever they do is going to be probably a reaction or a triggered response, and not to take any of it personally. It's not anything to do with you or your character. It is just them processing the situation, what's happening. I keep saying that because I feel like I really want it to be clear. And I feel like there's just like a lot of heaviness around it. Like these cards talk about clearing your own energy, and getting yourself balanced. So if you are going to have this conversation soon, the suggestion I would say is like to get very grounded within yourself. So literally do some deep breaths. Like literally picture your feet rooted in the earth. If you live near mountains or a forest, maybe you want to go and connect with that and like get out there and really feel grounded and secure. Like it's just like take care of your needs and then step forward and have this conversation. But there is such an emphasis. Look at this. So anytime you see kind of nature in cards, it's all about getting grounded. We have trees, we have mountains, we have more mountains. We have a tree here and tree here with roots. So really, really big that you make sure you are grounded and rooted in yourself so that you don't get triggered by this conversation when this person's having their emotional experience of it, okay? All you can do is be grounded and rooted in yourself, be centered in yourself, and just come with compassion, kindness, and love, and be honest and true. I feel like don't try to I don't know, what am I trying to say here? Like, I feel like don't feel like you need to over explain the situation and come up with like justifications. Just be true, kind, loving, and compassionate, and let them have their way through it. And then here we say, finish what you've started. So you've started something important. Now it's time to complete it. I really do feel like this is just further encouragement that it is time to have this conversation and to see it through. you might have been waiting and waiting until like the right moment, but I feel like it's saying like you're ready now. It might not feel like it, but this is just a situation that needs to happen, or a conversation that needs to happen. Yeah. Yeah. These ones feel a little bit separate though. It says very soon, thankful, and listen to your true feelings. It says don't let others talk you into doing something that you know is wrong. Think about the people and things that you feel grateful for, and what you're asking for will happen soon in a happy way. I feel like this is kind of like after you have this conversation, I kind of feel like this is the guidance that comes through for after it, which is I'm a little confused about it because I do feel like there's just drawn like some of you literally have to fire people for work, and some of you are trying to break up with a person, and some of you are having a friend break up or resetting boundaries with a friend. And it's very hard to like apply this guidance to each one of those situations as they feel quite different. But after you have this conversation, if you're feeling icky, I do feel like there is some guidance here to make sure that you like maybe literally go take a shower. And like as you're taking a shower, just set the intention that any energy that's not yours is being cleared or wiped away from your body. Some of you might want to make sure you're drinking lots of water, literally clear out this energy, any energy you might have taken on from this person, and reground yourself. Just know that you're probably going to be ungrounded. It's a hard conversation. That makes us feel unsafe and we get ungrounded. So it's like, just make sure that you don't take on anything that is not yours, take on any of their emotions, their fears, their blames, and just that it's only your stuff you're hanging on to. And then I even see like here, like if you have a pet or you have some friends, maybe make a plan to like talk with those people after. People who are going to be compassionate, gentle, and kind with you, because this conversation is really hard for you all. That keeps coming forward again and again. Like I feel like you're going to need gentleness and just people around you that love you and remind you of your gentleness. And yeah, this one is like, I just feel like very soon, this is saying that something's taking off for you. So whether that is you need to get rid of this person for business to take off, for your business to take off, for work to get better, or if you need it because you literally have not felt very free in your relationships, or you felt held back in your relationships, or like there wasn't space for you to be you in your relationships. I feel like this is saying like you're going to come into yourself. There will be space for you to grow. There'll be space for you to explore yourself. And it just feels more freeing and unchaining. I don't know. So like I said, take that as it resonates. You know your situation that you're in. And it just feels like it's really necessary. So I do want to ask another question for y'all. I kind of want to use this deck still. What am I going to ask? I kind of was asking if there's any messages from someone who loves you. Sure, let's do that. I don't know if this deck is going to be the right deck for it, so we might have to grab another deck, but let's just try it. That's what we do when we have cards, right? We just keep asking questions and see if we can get the answer. An answer that makes sense. Okay. Where's a message from someone who loves pile 1? Message. Okay. Look at that. Okay, that did work. Good thing we use this deck. So we have share. And when I see this reminds me of this card here where it's like, it's talking about getting with your people that make you feel better, who can hold some space for you. Because I feel like you might just need to vent, or literally when I see this, I think you might literally need like a hug after this is done. Like just a long, silent, loving hug from a friend. Or a loved one of some sort. Maybe it's even a mom or even a pet. You just need to cuddle with them. And it's like, it's okay. So it's like, share the burdens on your heart. Your heart's heavy and you're going to feel so much better when you can like just share some of the struggles that you've had with this with someone who is supportive and loving and sees you for who you are. Because I feel like I said, this pile's very hard on themselves and you've been in your head about this for a while. So it's just like, just share your burdens. Your friends want to be there for you. And it also might give them some clarity on maybe why you've been feeling so heavy or spacey or not yourself. And we have happy surprise. Something very good is about to happen. So I kind of love this. It kind of like talks about how like when we have these hard conversations, one, you're just going to feel lighter. And I feel like they're saying like there is some positive things coming in. It's not all bad. This shark has really been weighing you down. Really, really been weighing you down. And I feel like this is saying like you're going to be surprised at how much lighter everything feels after this conversation. And even like I feel like if you have this conversation and then you go home and you just cry your face off, I think you're still going to feel so much better. Like the pressure of not having the weight of needing to have this conversation is going to be like so liberating and freeing for you. And then simplicity. Put your energy into the basics and let go of excess. So yeah, this is saying like just like let go of the overthinking, let go about the worrying about everything, how everything's going to turn out, how the conversation's going to go, and just be. Just like take care of yourself, you know? Are you sleeping enough? Maybe go to bed a little bit earlier. Do a meditation. If you like yoga, go to a yoga class. You know, go run outside if you like doing that. Go jump in a stream if you just like love that. Like just be and do the simple things that are good self-care routines that just make you feel loved and appreciated. Yeah, life doesn't always have to be so heavy. When we take on responsibilities for everyone else and for how people are going to respond to us, that's when it gets heavy. So it's like just simplify. Simplify and be, because you're very lovely, compassionate people, and this situation has just been draining on you. Draining on you for a while from what I can see. Oh, I hope it happens for you soon. I guess it's up to you, I feel like it's up to you when this conversation happens, but it does just feel so heavy. So I'm like very excited for you all to like get this off your chest, literally off your shoulders, off your back. I feel like energetically it is just really, really heavy. So just remember, ground yourself before, during, and after. Especially important after. If you have some energy clearing practices you do, I would do that afterwards as well, maybe even before, just so that you can be as centered in yourself as possible, because I do feel like this is going to be a challenging conversation for you, but it needs to happen. And once it does, you're going to be free and liberated from it, and it will not take up any more of your energy. And that's so important, because it's almost, it's just getting bigger and bigger and turning more and more into the shark. So whew, that is heavy. So heavy. Okay. I hate to leave you like this, pile one, but I feel like it's up to you now, you know? You gotta go take your actions, do your thing, and just be gentle on yourselves, because this isn't defining who you are as a person. This is whatever they say and do and go through is just them moving through their own fears, beliefs, and frustrations around the situation. And it's not a reflection of who you are. You're very kind, you're very loving, you're very compassionate, which is even why you're overthinking this. You're so compassionate, so empathetic. You're great people. Make sure you get around your friends. They're going to help you remember that you're a great person and people love you. And this one person, it's okay if not everyone in the world loves you and sees you for who you really are. That's their loss. And they're just not seeing you clearly. Okay. I love you guys. You seem super awesome. I wish you the best of luck. And my thoughts are with you. You've got this. You're going to crush it. Or at least you're going to feel free after you have the conversation. Yeah. I feel so bad leaving you. I'm not leaving you. I'm still there in spirit, okay? You've got this. You got my encouragement. Good luck. Hello, pile twos. Okay, so I'm going to start right away with the animal oracle cards, just to get a feeling for what's going on for you. So we're just asking 11 light for the highest good for pile 2. Oops. What energy are they in right now around the situation they're in? Okay, and then I'm just asking, what do your guides want you to know, pile 2? that you're not seeing in yourself right now? Awesome. Cool. All right, so we have peacock and spider. And we have buffalo and wolf. These are really interesting cards to see together. Interesting. Most famous words ever in my pick a card readings. Interesting. So why I say this? Because the energy that you're in seems good. Seems quite positive, actually. So I'm like, what are you all doing here? But I wonder if that's even like a surface. Like, I wonder if outwardly you're putting out there that you're like doing good, that you are doing good, but really on the inner level, there's a lot more going on for you, and you might be struggling with some things. Because peacock is like the card. Like I pulled this the other day, and I actually read it in the guidebook, and it was saying how like it is actually a rare card to come out. Which is funny because maybe when you see peacock, you think of like a showy bird, you know, like they show their feathers to protect the females, the males do, to keep them safe, and they take on the attention to distract other people from like the ones they love. So they'll take the harsher attention, which is interesting because I almost wonder if that's a little bit what's happening here. I wonder if sometimes you take the brunt of bad situations or like criticism to protect other people that you care about. I'm not sure. But anyways, in the card deck, it actually talks about how the peacock is such a rare card to come out because you know what? Let me just actually read it for you. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it justice. Let me read it because it actually is such a beautiful, like a lot of this particular deck, the reason why I don't use it too much is I find it's very shadowy, which is okay, but we're all pretty hard on ourselves, and I feel like we could use some light attributes coming our way. So I don't use it that much because of the shadowy aspect, but that's actually why when I was reading the peacock one, here it is, I was pleasantly surprised by it because I was like, this is actually just positive and it's not so shadowy, which is nice. So it says, inner beauty, compassion, assimilator of anything. The beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It's easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely. This adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life. So it does not harbor resentment, conflict, or past pain within its psyche. The peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of the self and others. When in balance, it's confident and kind. And when it's out of balance, it can struggle to digest situations. And to bring it into balance, so you're your best version of yourself in this attribute, it says meditate on the navel or on the stomach area. So it's a beautiful card, as you can see. And the spider as well is a positive card. So it's super fascinating because I almost wonder if you're finding yourself in a situation where you kind of know this about yourself, where you know that maybe you're different from other people, where you have more compassion maybe than what most people feel, but people aren't seeing you for that. Because when I think of the peacock, I'm thinking of someone who people maybe only sometimes see the outside of them and not the inside of them. And this is definitely more intuitive because, as I said, like this card is basically saying you should be solid, you should be good. But I feel like this is like, no, I feel like there's like some struggle here for you. And maybe not being seen to your depths, the depths that you have. And maybe judged more by your outside than you on your inside. And I think that can be hard for you because I do think you're a very deep person. I think you like are super deep. And I think like when I see this card, there's so many eyes. Like I think you see so much in other people and you see so much in them. Like you observe so much in the environment, but I feel like they don't always see you. So it's like, and the other thing I get too is I feel like there is often a lot of eyes on you. So maybe you feel like people look up to you. Or you notice that a lot of people look up to you or look up to you I don't know, I get like leadership vibes. Like, I keep getting the expression like all eyes on you. Like, yeah, it seems kind of hard. It actually feels like sometimes maybe you're feeling really burdened by the weight of responsibility that some other people put on you or project on you. Maybe to like not make mistakes or I don't know, maybe it's almost like people see you so wise and so experienced and like so level-headed that sometimes you feel the pressure of like always having to be in that energy. And sometimes, like it says here, like sometimes you're just having a hard time digesting a situation. Like sometimes maybe you're just having a hard time not feeling hurt by a situation or not feeling frustrated by a situation or like wrapping your head around a situation, how it even happened. But I feel like there's like this distance between you and the people that, I don't know, I feel like they look up to you. Maybe they're not your support people. Maybe they're more just like people who seem to think you've got it all put together. That's kind of the vibe I get a little bit for this pile. And then the spider card. So like if you look at this, like to me the spider is like normally quite balanced, and it like it's building a web. But I actually kind of feel like it's like I feel like usually you're quite good at getting yourself organized in a balanced way, in a way that helps out everything and everyone. And once again, though, I do feel like there's like this like heaviness that you're carrying right now. I mean, I don't feel like you always feel this way. I feel like often you probably feel quite grateful to be of service to people. Like that's just both these cards talk about just like wanting to make the world a better place. But I do feel like there's a weight or heaviness you're carrying lately with just the amount of responsibility or pressure or something like that for other people, or just the way people are looking at you. Or it could just be because you're just, going through a hard time, but also trying to stay level-headed, responsible, and true to yourself without maybe sharing your burdens with some supportive people. I don't know if that's making sense, pal, too. I feel like there's just such a heaviness. You do feel like a lot of you probably own your own business, are a manager, or are like in charge of people in some way. Maybe you're a mentor. You might be a public figure of some sort. Like any of that kind of stuff makes sense. It's like, it just feel like I see a lot of people who look up to you, and it feels like it is associated with your work, but I feel like just who you are as a person, a lot of people look up to you. So it's quite interesting. Some of you might be from pile 1. You don't have to watch pile 1, but the bottom of the deck, the hawk appeared, and that just came out in pile 1. So some of you might be from pile 1 continuing onwards. I find that often happens too, because I just felt like pile 1 didn't want me to leave their energy. So sometimes that will like continue into the next pile for those who need it, because it's almost sometimes like secondary advice to a different facet of the thing they're struggling with. So if you are from pile 1, this might just be a little bit of what's that called? A confirmation for you. But you know what? Let's also read from the guidebook what spider means for you. Sometimes like the wording of the author just nails it. So I'm just going to grab this for you and read it. Okay. There we go. So we have spider, creator of prosperity through life's work and dharma. The spider is an ingenious creator. Its greatest gift is weaving the thread of dharma into a vast, intricate web that supports the spider and those around it, both financially and spiritually. It is hard work, but the spider neither tires nor becomes impatient. This card reminds us creativity is everywhere. Be process-orientated rather than results-orientated, and soon your work becomes like the weaving of a magical, priceless tapestry. Abundance follows. So when it's in balance, appreciative, enthusiastic, and prosperous. When out of balance, it's discouraged, tired, and forlorn. And to bring the energy back into balance, it says be playful and creative. And you know what? This just really kind of just further goes on to how I was saying how you're very lovely people. And I do feel like it's just like there's a weight. There's a weight on you. And I don't quite know what it is or how it's happening. I think it could just be, I do feel like it's maybe more general burnout, just like pressure over time without having support around you. That you're just, no one can be perfect. No one can take on the burdens of the world by themselves. It's just, we just aren't capable of that. We're not meant for that. So I do feel like it's saying like you normally, like you're normally, I feel like you're always trying to like bring blessings into everyone's lives, to make everyone's lives better. But I feel like you need to just pay attention to yourself right now and what you're needing. To kind of get through this situation, and to come back into that place where you are able to hold space for other people. That's kind of what I'm getting, but it's not necessarily holding space, but like, I don't know, I really feel like this is work specific, like how people are looking up to you, like being able to bring more prosperity into everyone's lives. You need to like take some time for yourself. Yeah, because even the brightest, most beautiful, brilliant people need a support structure. They need a supportive group behind them. What is the word that I'm looking for here? They need their tribe. Maybe that's the right word. So I feel like there's a need for more supportive conversations in your life, or letting more people support you in your life. But I don't get the impression this is the same people that are looking up to you. Those people feel like they're in a different role in your life, and you have other people who are on the same level as you who can hold space for you, and those are the people you need to be bringing in. So it could be just friends. It could be maybe actually seeing a counselor or a therapist or something like that. Someone who, you needs to be someone who emotionally is able to hold space for you, because you're someone who is quite... I think you're quite articulate. I think you're quite emotionally aware and quite conscious. And yeah, you have like a lot of clarity on who you are, and I just want to say self-awareness. Yeah, very self-aware. And you need someone of that same energy to hold space for you and kind of support you, because I feel like the people who follow you, they follow you because they're inspired by you. They're inspired by your energy and who you are and how you hold yourself in the world. But they don't feel like they feel like apprentices. Like, they don't have to be, but they feel like they're not there. You need someone who is in your same level of wisdom and able to hold space. These people feel like they are looking up to you because they're learning how to become that, but they're not actually there yet, which is okay, because your role is to be that for them. But you need to find people who are of your level in that area to support you. Okay, that's what I'm going to say about that. Which is interesting how much guidance comes through, hey, just in the energy you're in. But so what your guides want you to know about yourself that maybe you're not remembering right now, we have the buffalo and the wolf. Buffalo is fascinating. You have so many positive cards. This is great because so many shadowy cards. You got all the positive cards. The buffalo is all about abundance. And there is thunder here, but I feel like it is remembering your power. Like, thunder is powerful. Lightning is powerful. And like knowing that you've got this, that you are like great at generating abundance and prosperity for not only yourself, but the people around you. And to stay grounded in yourself, centered in yourself, and trusting yourself and your decisions. Yeah. I don't know why that's coming up. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. We'll tune into that a little bit more. But yes. So I feel like you're like what you're not maybe remembering about yourself between both these cards. So wolves, like I keep thinking like leader of a pack. And buffalo, they're pack animals too. And I really feel like it's like reminding yourself or remembering that you are a really great leader. And if you're feeling like weird about it, if you're questioning that, these two cards come in to say like, you just naturally are that. You are naturally a leader. People look up to you. People are here to learn from you. And this buffalo is all about staying grounded, but also trusting that you're going to know what to do as the steps unfold. So it's almost like the buffalo is like, it's like, how do I put that? It's like, just remember when you're feeling like this discouraged or heaviness, that one of the things you do great in this world is like, you just know how to stay centered in yourself, and you know how to, like, I don't know, I shouldn't say know how to, you trust yourself so much, and you trust that the world will bring you things you need. And when you're in that energy, anything's possible. Like, it's almost like you don't doubt yourself. Like, say you're just taking things a step at a time, and as like hardship arises, you trust yourself and you trust the universe enough to know that a solution will come. There'll be a way for you to figure out a way around it. It's like, it's almost like releasing control, and just as long as you know you're grounded and centered in yourself, and you're like listening to your intuition and listening to your inner guidance, that everything's going to be okay. And you don't need to know every little detail. You don't need to be completely in control of everything that's going to happen, have every bit of foresight. You just know that you will be adaptable enough when things come, and that things will work out, because you just, I don't know, when you're centered in yourself, you just have that trust. And when you're grounded in yourself, you have that trust. So wolf energy too is about like knowing, like saying, like, you know how to lead people. You do know how to lead people. And when you come with patience, compassion, and understanding, it's like saying that even the weakest links, you know how to help them grow and learn how to figure it out. Like, I don't know. Like, I keep thinking like wolf packs. Like, I think the strongest, don't they stay at the back? They stay at the back to make sure that everyone makes it. It's like really interesting. It's almost like, I don't know, I keep getting there's like this discernment about you, where you can see where people are needing more support, and you can see where people are strongest. And it's almost like you're able to put people in roles where their stronger attributes or their greater strengths can really shine, can really be valuable, can really be appreciated, and knowing where to take them out of positions where their weaknesses basically will just bring down the pack. Does that make sense? It's like, I don't know, this one feels like so much discernment, and like, yeah, seeing people, knowing where to put them. I also feel like this pile, like, you might have a lot of fire energy in your astrology signs. Fire? Yeah, I think you do. Fire and maybe earth, or earth in a key placement. Because I feel like the leadership thing's so strong. Maybe it's like Taurus, actually. I feel like you could have some Taurus in you. It's something that has some anxiety. Something like that. Okay, sorry, I just changed my battery there. But I was just, saying, maybe you also have some like Leo in your chart. I mean, their fire signs are like Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. But I feel like there could be some Leo vibes here. Anyways, I guess I won't put these away, but we're going to pull some guidance cards for you just to get you some more clarity around the situation. So what does pile 2 need to hear in Love and Light? And the high is good right now. What do they need to hear? Okay. I don't want those ones. I don't want to like a whole like plethora followed at once. Okay. Okay. And there we go. Cool. Okay, so we have shielding, Mother Mary. So Mother Mary is all about being compassionate. I would say understanding and gentle. I don't know. I actually always associate her with being a leader. I don't know why. I don't know if that's actually a thing or just something I associate her with. Maybe I'll put that there. Okay. And there is a lot of heart energy going on here. Lots of heart energy. We said shielding, Mother Mary. You already know the answer. You are safe. Self-reflection, ask for a sign, patience, and you are understood. So yeah, I definitely get such a big thing around. I really feel like a really big thing that's weighing on you right now is you're just needing more supportive people in your life. You need to have people you can rely on, who get you, who understand you, who understand the struggles and the challenges of your job, because I feel like there is a lot of responsibility and a lot of weight on your shoulders, and it just gets exhausting after a while. Also, with the shielding, it could just be like because you're around so many people, or however you are, like if you are like a public figure, sometimes there's just a lot of energy directed at you or just thought about you, that sometimes we just need to make sure that we're not taking on other people's energy about us. And literally, you might just literally need to see yourself in like a bubble of love and light, a pillar of love and light. You might just literally need to just do a little Ho'oponopono prayer once a day where you just say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I always add in, I release you, you release me, just so I don't take on anyone's energies. And if I've accidentally put in my energy on anyone, I've taken it back. I just feel like that would really benefit, because I really think there's just so much responsibility and weight. And it's just all these cards kind of talk about like your heart being heavy. And there's a lot about communication. So is it communication? Or is it how you're seeing things? Ooh, I think it's actually how you're seeing things. So third eye chakra. There's some stuff just going on there. You already know. I find that just fascinating that that's coming through, because I feel like it's just even full, like you got the peacock card. It means you are quite wise, you're quite self-aware, you know yourself very well, and you kind of know the things you need to do. But sometimes it's just kind of hard to like take the action steps and do the things that we know we need to do. Sorry, I keep getting distracted in this reading. I'm not even sure what the initial distraction was, but then I ended up eating some snacks and now I'm back. So sometimes when that happens, when I'm channeling messages for people or tuning into your energy, I should say, it could mean that you're struggling with staying present and focused on tasks right now. Maybe some of you also have like some coping mechanisms of like distracting yourself with something. So maybe like with watching a show, scrolling, eating food, distracting yourself, drinking a lot of coffee. And that's usually, like for me, that's always a sign that I'm like not meeting my emotional needs somewhere or addressing something within myself. And I kind of think where the self-reflection comes in, where it's kind of like, I feel like y'all are just so aware of yourselves that you probably also have this awareness where you're like maybe starting to like it even says you already know. I think you already know where you're like kind of letting go of some self-care needs, where you're spending too much time doing some things that aren't so self-honoring of yourself. And I feel like it's just like this is just really coming through to be like, hey, like what are you needing from yourself right now? What's getting to you? What's bothering you right now? Where do you need a little more love and compassion towards yourself? Yeah. And I do feel like there's like a need to address I do feel like self-care, like where you're not taking care of yourself where you normally are, what routines or habits or have fallen away that you usually have and maintain that keep you feeling good. And I just like I really feel like there's like this already know card. I just feel like you feel emotionally isolated right now, or emotionally unsupported right now, and you think that's really like a root of an issue that's coming up. Emotional isolation or feeling isolated. And when I see you are understood and you are safe, I just sorry, I feel like I just need to take a deep breath. I just feel like things have just been so heavy on your shoulders lately, and you really just need someone to hold space for you and see you. So maybe a counselor, maybe a therapist, maybe a good friend, maybe a parent, whoever it is in your life that can embody compassion and meets you where you're at, like we were saying with this peacock card. Like really feel like you need your support systems right now. You're just needing people who can meet you where you're at the same level you're at. That just keeps coming through so strongly for this pile. And I really feel like you're just needing to be seen. get centered in yourself, get grounded. And I think part of that is going to be, like unburdening yourself. You might just literally need to vent. If like, I don't know, maybe some of you, I really feel like it's like the need to reach out to somebody else, to someone else who can be in this energy with you, and move through it with you. So like I said, it really could be a therapist, or it could just be a friend who's very compassionate, who's got your back. But maybe also like, just like, I mean, maybe recording a voice memo, just venting, just getting the words out that you're needing to say or that you're needing to get off your chest. That might even help. I do feel like there's like some verbal energy that needs to happen though. Like you need to get rid of it. You need to get it out of you. You need to express it. And this is really weird, but I keep seeing, I don't know what this is supposed to be in the corner of this card that says self-reflection. Maybe it's supposed to be the back of a mirror. I'm not sure. But I actually keep seeing it as a sound bowl. Like it looks like my green chakra bowl to me. So maybe if you like sound baths, maybe attending a sound bath, maybe where the focus is on heart-centeredness, on like opening up to receiving, something like that. I do feel like there is a bit of a block in letting people support you. Being seen. So that seems like a big thing. Ask for a sign. This card's interesting. I'm not totally sure what it's talking about, but maybe it's just like if you've been working towards something and you're needing, you know what, let's just pull some cards, because I actually just feel like I need clarity on what this card's talking about. Ask for a sign. It's talking about heart and seeing things. So what is it talking about? Reward, completion. Okay, strength and sensitivity. Achievement. So this is actually, I think, something that's weighing on your chest, something where a situation where you're like, I don't know what to do about it. Like I don't know. There's a great uncertainty, and it's like something you're thinking about a lot. And I feel like it's saying like, because like with this buffalo card, it's all about being grounded in yourself and trusting that you have everything you need to take the actions you need to as they come. I feel like this card is saying like, ask for signs, like literally ask, like, if this is the right decision for me, let there be a penguin that I see, like something super random, or let me see a blue butterfly or a pink dress, you know, like you choose it. But I feel like just keep asking for like signs from the universe that you're following the right direction. Ask for signs and synchronicities. But it is interesting, like it's definitely like these cards are all connected to the buffalo for sure, and like knowing your strength knowing your strength and your ability when you're grounded and centered in yourself to get through anything. Achievement, reward. I don't know, I feel like that's quite clear. And 3 is just all about like support systems. So lots about support systems for you. The patience card. You know what? I actually feel like this is tied to the wolf card, because the wolf card can say like sometimes we can get a little bit exhausted or frustrated with like the weaker members of the pack not keeping up sometimes, or feeling that we've been very patient with them, but they're just like not meeting expectations, or they're not making expectations. And the patience card, I feel like that's coming up for guidance around that. We can ask for more clarifying cards for that as well for you. So please, patience. What does the patience card mean? So we have letting go of urgency, kingship, community, your group. Yeah, okay. Ancestors, historical connections and purposes. Okay, so interesting. For some of you, this could actually be your kid. Maybe your kid is like taking over the business, or a relative is taking over the business, or you're trying to teach like a close friend how to take over a job for you or something like that. And when I see the letting go of urgency and patience, community in your group, really do feel like this is further confirmation that to be patient with them as they get there and as they learn. Sorry, I'm just like tuning in. I was like, does this have anything to do with like you needing to take action towards them? No, I feel like it's actually just being, meeting people where they're at kind of energy. And patience, and when you have to like re-explain things and re-teach them things. I feel like there's just someone who has a different learning ability than you. Is that right? Learning ability? Have a different way of learning, or slower learners than you are. And then that you're used to as well. So it's almost like this energy of just like letting go of the fact that it's taking longer than you expected. And just, I feel like it's saying like that they're going to get there when they get there and the way that they're going to get there. And I feel like they're almost been a challenge for you because I feel like they just learn so differently. They seem like their character traits are quite different from yours. Seems like a curveball in your life, which is interesting. I think they're here actually just to teach you how to lead in a different way. Yeah, it does feel like they're very tied to your own growth in how you lead, from what I can see. But they're definitely part of your community. They're definitely part of, yeah, definitely someone you're working with or teaching in your, yeah, I don't know. You know what? I feel like I'm just rambling. This is an interesting energy. I feel like you're so tired. Like, I keep getting really tired, and I'm like, oh, how am I going to film the next pile? But I'm like, is this my energy? I think this might be your energy. You're just quite depleted right now. So lots of guidance on just making sure your self-care is met, shielding your energy, really releasing your burdens as being your own, and like having some support system in your life so that you can like emotionally be freed of some of this heaviness and yeah, not feel so isolated, so solo in life. Yeah, and just coming back into balance with yourself. Getting mental clarity around some situations. I feel like you have lots of responsibilities on your shoulder, and that's just like part of your life and your job that you have. So you are safe, self-reflect, ask for signs, ask for help, lean on people who can meet you where you're at. I feel like not the people you work with, but like your personal friends, the people who are of the same self-awareness, who are capable of the same compassion as you, other leaders maybe, or even like a therapist or counselor. I feel like there's someone in your life that you can lean on. There feels like there's someone's energy around you who could handle it. And I'm trusting that you know who that is, as this is just a general reading. And yeah, really stepping more into that kind, nurturing aspect towards yourself. Not feeling like you need to do everything on your own. Okay. I think this is all I have for you, pile twos, and I just wish you the best of luck with this. And I hope you can unburden yourself and don't feel so alone, because you're not alone. There's just a lot of weight on your shoulders, I can see. So I'm just thinking about you, and I wish you the best. Hello, pile threes. So firstly, we are going to be pulling the animal cards before we pull your guidance cards. And I'm just asking for some clarity in the energy that you're in right now. Energy that you're in. Okay, and then what are you not seeing about yourself that your guides want you to know right now? All in one light. What are you not seeing about yourself that your guides are wanting you to see? Okay. You don't necessarily want the dragonfly one. Okay. That's my cat Toby over there. Okay, we have mouse and lamb for what you're not seeing about yourself. And we have octopus and fire ant is how you're feeling. Okay. So the octopus is actually all about feeling like you're being pulled in all sorts of directions in this card deck. And it's kind of like a bit of chaotic energy. Over like having like, I don't know, like you might just literally feel like you can't turn off your mind right now, that there's just so much that you have to be responsible for or check in on, and like literally juggling shit, trying to make it through. And then the fire ant, well, I don't know if this is pretty self-explanatory, but like this also feels equally chaotic. Like, not trying to laugh at you, it's just kind of like, ooh, that's rough. You're in some rough energy right now. Fire ant, yeah, it's kind of just like feeling like there is a lot going on. So it's quite interesting to me that these two cards came out together, because it kind of talks about how like the octopus is like, we get started in a couple of things. We start saying yes to people because because you're great people. You're trying to be very compassionate, trying to be helpful. You're trying to make life easier for people. But then you find yourself saying yes to too many people, and all of a sudden you don't have time for any one activity, any one thing, and you're like kind of overburdened and have a lot of responsibility that's not humanly possible to manage all at once. So it's kind of like finding yourself in a situation where you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? There's so much going on and I have no time to get it all done. And the Fire Ant card talks about very similar concept actually, about how being very eager to like be like a help I think like a helper bee, a helping hand, and then kind of finding yourself in a lot of situations where you're taking on the most of the responsibility. You're taking on almost all of the responsibility, all the effort, and feeling like problems are just coming at you faster than you can solve. Like, I just always think like, you know, like if you accidentally step on an anthill, there's so many ants that emerge so fast and it's overwhelming and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I come back from this? And it's just a lot. That's kind of what I'm getting here. It's just like, oh my gosh, there's just so much going on. And like, just like this deep question of like, I don't know how I got here, but I'm here now and I literally can't get it all figured out and it all done. So if that's how you're feeling, then this is your pile. This is the right pile for you. Definitely probably a lot of anxiety. I feel like some insomnia coming up for some of you at night. Like, I can't stop looking at how the brain is just lit up all over the place. And I just feel like there's so many tasks and so many things to figure out and so many things to do that it's like you just can't manage it all. And then, yeah, the Fire Ant comes in to say it somehow fell in all on your shoulders. And you're not sure how that happened because it kind of started off as helping someone, but then it became doing their job and it becoming completely your job, which, yeah, is pretty out of balanced. Okay, so when we have the mouse and the lamb coming through for what your guides want you to remember, this energy is very gentle. Like, this is chaotic and like stressful and like overwhelming. If we're being real here, pile threes. You tune in the energy of this, and it's like just the gentlest, the sweetest, the kindest. And the mouse is kind of like saying like, hey, look, a strong asset that you have is that you really like to keep busy and organize and get prepared for things. The mouse is like a very similar energy to squirrel energy, where it's like you're always kind of keeping one eye on the future and like how to be prepared for it. But the mouse kind of says like they like to keep busy because they kind of like to keep a purpose. And it's saying like right now you might have stretched yourself too thin and you might be running around not really getting anything done. But how do I say this? But like it started off as a beautiful thing. You have this beautiful quality of being able to be organized and see an end vision and get there. And it's almost why I feel like it's really matched with the lamb, as the lamb is about slowing down, taking a few breaths, and approaching yourself with a gentleness, because this is chaotic. This is super chaotic. This is panic. This is anxious, anxiety-based. And this over here is saying like, hey, when's the last time you did some self-reflection? And I mean self-reflection in the sense of being like, where am I putting my energy and what is my priorities? But you're not doing it while you're in the state of running around. You're actually pausing long enough to take a few deep breaths, to journal, to sit down. And it's like, it might seem like you don't have time for that right now, but you can't keep going at this pace, because this pace doesn't get you anywhere. And I feel like it's so much going on that you're actually quite disorganized. So you might be busy, but then you recognize that you're not even like maximizing on the time that you have or being more efficient with your time. And I want to be clear, I'm not harping on you for like you know, like being so stressed out that like you're not doing things perfectly. I just want to be clear that it's like you have this amazing skill set to be super organized when you're not so overwhelmed and stressed out, and you just are needing a time to like pause and reground, recenter yourself, and be like, hey, like, where's all my time going? And then just really ask yourself that question, because it's saying like the lamb can see things clearly, and this mouse is saying that you've got an amazing skill set for being organized and knowing how to run a busy ship. You do know how to do it, but when it's out of balance, it's saying like you kind of just like got so overwhelmed by all the chaos and all the responsibility, and like honestly I feel like literally people like drop the load on you. Like at first you were working maybe with like, I don't know, I could see like you're like working with your kids soccer team to help organize fundraisers, and all of a sudden every parent drops out and it's just you organizing the fundraiser, and it's just you making all the things for the fundraiser, and then it's you like cooking snacks for everyone else who goes to the fundraiser, and then like it just kept adding on, and you're like, what, how did this evolve into this mess? And I don't know, you might not be a parent. That was a really specific example, but I was just like seeing soccer, or maybe where you are in the world you call it football, it just seemed insane. And I feel like that's kind of how you found yourself there. It just was a small thing that got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then people were like, you're good at organizing. Here, take my half. And it just exploded. And it's a mess. So this is just saying, you're so good at organizing. I feel like there's some reflection on like, how can I get back my time, still contribute in a way that I want to, but not be the one taking on everything. And I even feel like you're so good at organizing that you could probably even organize people. So if you told people, hey, I just need you to make said thing for a fundraiser, said thing for this, like I already feel like you would still be organizing people, which is kind of what people want. They don't want to have to organize themselves for some reason. I don't know. This is super specific. You take it if it resonates. But then it takes the weight off of you of having to do it all, of having to make it all, and like be this juggler of impossible amounts of things. And if you're even like, I don't even want to take on that responsibility, you could literally just send an email saying like, hey, this is all the stuff that needs to be done, and I'm not sure who wants to take charge of it, but I'm too busy to do that. So I'm doing this thing on this list, and everyone else can pick something and organize amongst yourselves. And that actually even feels really good for you. It's just like, taking yourself out of the full responsibility, but making it clear that you are, and that it's not falling back on you. I don't know. Super random message about fundraisers and soccer and making snacks for kids and parents. Super random. So anyways, let's look at some guidance. Also, the other thing I want to say here too is it's saying like, I wonder if you're feeling like you're turning into, like the energy here is like maybe you feel like you're turning into some like bitter, resentful person, but it's like, I feel like the thing that's coming through for you guys is like, you're not, you are just juggling a shit ton of stuff, and you have a hard time, slowly explaining things to people and being like as patient as you would like to be with people because you're just lacking time. Who you really are is like a patient person. You are very patient, you're very understanding, and you're very gentle. And your energy that people receive of you is very gentle and kind. Like the lamb is all about gentleness, all about approachability. You are that way. You're just literally in a place where you're just surviving. So it makes sense that you're feeling chaotic and not like the best version of yourself because, dude, you got fire ant, man. Fireman is insane. It's just like, literally, you feel like you're the center of this and all this shit's coming at you. That's how you're feeling. It's pretty overwhelming there. Maybe even triggering, some would say. So you are a beautiful, beautiful, kind soul. And do not let the current circumstance make you think less of yourself because you are wonderful. So, okay, let's pull some cards here. What guidance do we have for you, pile 3? Look at that. Self-care, self-love, self-compassion. Focus on your health. Everything's okay. Gold. You know what? As I was like thinking about doing this card reading, I have this song called You Are Gold that came onto my playlist, and I really like it. It's kind of like soft. I'm sorry, I'm just like quickly looking at my phone, the name, the artist. Maybe I'll even take it for the song selection for this pile. Gold. Let's see. You know what? It's not popping up. I'll put it as the song selection. So if you chose this pile, it might even be because of that song. But I only just found out now that I'm going to do it. But anyways, it's a beautiful song. Maybe it helps you remember who you are. Because here I feel like epiphany. Look at this. checking things off your list. I feel like what I'm seeing here is like scratching off things that are your responsibility on your list. Look at that, and getting grounded. This is great advice. So first things first, everything's okay. Everything's okay. You're okay. And this is not all your responsibility. I'm sorry that you kind of got it all put on you, that there's 100 things happening, but it is not all your responsibility. Yeah, I feel like there's a need for more support and for more people to kind of step up. Because I just get this, not even, like, a lot of this stuff literally isn't your responsibility. Like, it literally isn't. Like, I will see you just, like, walking the street, and then people will be like, hey, could you, like, drive me to this place? And you're like, okay. And then you suddenly have no time in your day, and you're now driving in the opposite direction to give someone a ride that you don't even know. Like, I feel like it's just weird stuff like that, where it's like, no, this is not your responsibility. Oh, here's my cat, Millie. This shouldn't all be on you. So, self-care, compassion, simplification, and beauty. So this is literally saying you need to simplify, and see, honestly, like, take a second to see what is your responsibility and what isn't. And honestly, I feel like the list of things that you're responsible for right now might actually feel this insanely long. But it's like saying it's important that you take the time, I know you don't feel like you have it, to reevaluate what is your responsibility and what you're going to let go of, because the list is just going to keep getting longer at this rate. And if you take the time to make it shorter, I feel like we can really cut it down. We can at least half it. Like, that's how much I think you are overdoing things in life right now. Yeah, this definitely a need for a way pullback and a prioritizing of your own care, your own health. And I even look at this card and I'm like, I wonder if some of you are like, I don't even remember the last time I did a nice thing for myself. Like, that's how long you've been going at this. Like, I feel like you're looking at this card and you're looking at this lady and you're like, wow, that must be nice to close your eyes and just take a second to stretch and not feel panicked to run around. Like, whew. You might even need to just take a bath and throw some flower petals in. I always get that message. I don't know why angels like that so much. I feel like they're always like, throw some petals in there, some wildflowers, some rose petals, whatever it is. You just throw some good things in there, throw some bubbles, get some candles, and just be. Just know you can just be and not think or need to be anywhere. And I feel like that is actually a really big challenge for this pile. And I can tell that's a big ask. And then also here we have focus on your health. So no, that doesn't mean you need to go for a run. I say this every time I see this card. It says wellness, nourishment, radiant, and active. I actually feel like the biggest thing about this is like saying, get out of the house, get out of the hustle, and just go for a freaking walk in the wild. Like, just enjoy the environment around you. You haven't been able to do that. You've just been running from place to place, doing next responsibility after next. And you might just need to listen to your favorite tunes. Maybe the song You Are Gold, we'll see. No pressure. And just be. And what I love about this card is it has number 4 on her shirt. And it's all about letting support in and not going at everything in life by yourself. So taking a breath, for sure. There's a lot of breathing going on in this pile. I feel like I keep feeling like there's so much restriction in my chest because of the weight and the burden of everything, that you might not realize how shallow you're breathing. And you might just need to even breathe more, like breathe deeper, really breathe. Yeah, and know that you are amazing. And that if you don't take all this on, it doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you just someone who can actually be the person you want to be and have time to, like, live, feel your life, be grateful for your life, experience your life. So here we have Divine Self, orange, intuition, balance, connection, spirit. So yeah, it's really saying it's time for some more balance, way more balance. And orange is all about the sacral, about loving your life and enjoying it and being able to enjoy it and love it. And I kind of like when I see this 2 paths thing, because it's like you can keep going down the road you're going, but it just seems really hard and horrible for you. And, you know, that's up to you to choose if you want to choose it. Or there's this other way which we could try, and maybe you don't know that path and it's a little uncomfortable at the start because you've got to, like, go through this list and pause and reevaluate what you're going to take on and what not, and tell some people you're not taking on responsibilities anymore. But that's okay. That's okay. And you know what's so interesting? Here we have a hawk feather again. Some of you might have literally watched all these piles, and that's cool. You know, you always just trust what you need to know. But the hawk card, as it came out in another pile, talked so much about seeing the bigger picture and like seeing past this moment. This moment is hard. Doing all that work and reorganizing things and getting the list figured out and having those conversations with people is hard. I am not going to deny that. But you deserve to be happy in your life, and you deserve not to just survive it. You deserve to live it, thrive through it, enjoy it, love it, get to experience yourself, get to experience, I don't know, maybe your kids. I feel like that's come up. Like maybe you don't even get to enjoy your kids because you're just so busy taking care of them or running place to place. And it's like, you just need some fun. You need fun. You need some fun and joy in your life. Like I'm like, it's a need. I think it's a need. I think it's safe to say that. Yeah. Being able to be your sparkly free self. Being able to be lit up about life. Be lit up about the things you love. Not on fire in a bad way because you feel like there's a mosh pit of responsibilities coming at you. You know? It's a different type of fire. This one's more lovely. This one's like shining through things. Loving through things. That is like getting beat up by multiple bullies at once. It's harsh. It's bad. We don't like it. We don't like it for you. You don't like it either, I don't think. It's very heavy. Okay, so root chakra card here, red. Emotions, healing, devotion, integration. This is all about getting grounded and centered in yourself so that you can really see where you've been in just survival mode in your life. And I think you've been in it for a while. Like you can't be grounded when this much chaos is going on, right? Like it's not possible. It doesn't matter how awesome or superhuman you are. No one can take on that much responsibility and be grounded themselves and rooted in themselves and be the best version of themselves. It's just not possible. And it's just like saying, it's going to be really hard for you, I think, to set this boundary, but know that you're worth it. Know that you're worth it, and that this, like, not being able to do anything doesn't change your value or how awesome you are or what you're deserving of. Like, this is over responsibility. This is literally stuff that should not have been put on you, and it just sort of eventually kept getting piled on top. That's what I keep seeing. Like, started off as manageable, and then people just sort of took advantage of you and kept piling it on, and it's just not fair. I'm like angry that people have done this to you. Pile 3. I feel very protective of you. I'm just like, you're just so beautiful and loving, and I want you to love your life, and I want you to be able to experience it and have time to live it, because this is just unattainable amount of shit for anyone to do. And if people have made you feel like you were wrong for not thinking you can do it all, then I just think they don't know your life. They don't know the weight of the stuff you're carrying. And these people are not worth listening to. They are not worth listening to because you are doing so much. Sorry, someone is vacuuming in the apartment upstairs. You hear that sound. Maybe you're vacuuming right now because you're multitasking like a crazy person, and you don't even notice that sound because you're just so used to chaos. I don't know. But I want you to know that you deserve to live your life. And if anyone's giving you shit about setting boundaries about your time, that is a reflection of them. And they're not honoring you, and they're not respecting and appreciating you because you've given them a lot of time and energy, and you do not deserve that treatment. And those hurtful words. I think if anything, there will be a resistance because people don't like change, and it means they're gonna have to take on more responsibility that you've been just taking on for them. And I feel like if there's any harsh words, it's gonna be because they're like angry that you're setting a boundary. And that's just people have resistance to boundaries that when they were able to just kind of use your energy however they wanted it. So You deserve better than that, pile threes. I'm sorry. I'm getting angry for you because I just wish I could go over there and say some things to these people that might be mean to you, but I can't. This is your journey. And unfortunately, you can't grow if you don't stand up for yourself and learn how to stand up for yourself and value yourself, because you just deserve so many things. And I'm sorry that you've been in this energy, and yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this has happened and you found yourself there. So, yeah, I think I'm probably just going to keep tangenting if I go on further about how you deserve more beautiful things in the world. And I hope you realize that, and that you were never supposed to be responsible for other people's responsibilities. And I'm sorry that that has happened. Take some deep breaths. I need to take some deep breaths. I'm getting worked up here. Okay. You know what? Should we just ask for just a couple more cards of support for y'all before we go? Peace, presence, quiet mind, animal totem, conscious steps. Yeah, so look at that. We have needing to slow down and calm down so that you can kind of get to clarity in your mind, because right now it's so hard for you to think clearly because there's just so much going on, so much, like your mind is just pulled in all sorts of different directions. So it's definitely saying, like, to get clarity, you need that slow down really, really big. And then when you're there, I do see that, like, looking forward and considered actions, knowing that you need to create change, feeling a little uncertain about it, feeling like it's a little bit rocky, but I just think you're so done. You're so done with this wave people treating you, of running around, consciously making different decisions. And what I like, animal energy empowers. You know what? You might just like be a person who feels like you get along better with animals than you do people. Any else? I don't know. I like this. So this usually talks about too, like if you feel like you don't have the strength, borrowing the attributes or qualities of an animal to help us get through it. So like elk is all about nobility, seeing past situations. We have the hawk again, which is all about seeing the bigger picture and really staying grounded in why you're going through these uncomfortable conversations and boundaries, because you know ultimately they are going to make your future better, and more enjoyable and able to be more present. The owl, I feel like that might give you better vision of like other people's shadows and like what is yours and what is not yours. So if these people, I do unfortunately feel like there's some people who are gonna have some like anger that you are setting boundaries, and I really just want to reaffirm that that is not a you issue, that is a them issue. Do not take on that. That is them being frustrated that you realize that you're giving too much. So that's all I have for you, pile threes. I just wish you the best. You are great people and you've got this.